gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
What's happening, everybody? What's going on, you guys? I see you. We are here. We are doing our thing. Well, I've got a few things I'm doing as we go. How's everybody doing tonight? You know, we've been we have been slowly but surely building this. Apologize about last night. We had a bunch of things going on. Sammy was unable to attend, and so was I. You know, family life sometimes precludes our ability to get on here, and I'm very grateful that you guys understand and have been patient with us when we can't come on here. Sammy is on the road. He is going to be entering in here any second. We'll bring him in. He might have to cut off for a second to get into the house, but he will be on. So, what's up, Sam Webb? How you doing?
What's up, everybody? I'm gonna turn off this light. It's a little distracted.
Yeah.
I've been in St. Louis all day and just getting back. I'm only about 15 minutes from home, and so I'm gonna stay on for as long as I can. But when I get there, I gotta spend a little time with the family. Samaya's got school tomorrow, so I want to make sure I check in with her and spend a little time with her. But
no doubt.
happy to
No doubt.
thank you. And I really want to echo what you're saying. Is like, look, we're just two guys doing the best we can, and listen, we want to be as consistent as possible. So we don't take it lightly when things don't work out, but we also appreciate that you guys don't take it too seriously and hold it against us. Like we will. And I know that Monte tries to, put older shows on, if he can, like to just make sure there's content streaming, but bear with us, y'all. Remember, we don't get paid for this, and so
Yeah.
sometimes we got to put food on the table to get there, and that can interfere. But like you said, it's typically family related when things happen, and we got to put family first. That's just good practice. But we do care about you guys, so thank you.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, bro. I rarely come across people so willing to accept when we can't make it and still love us and be a part of our situation. So it's always been amazing how our viewers have responded to us and worked with us and been with us. What's up, Kirk? What's up, bro? I love you guys, man. It's good to see both of you in here, man. I see we got 7 viewers right now. So listen, please, man, don't forget to share, like, comment. It means a lot to us. So you understand, when you share and then like and then comment, when you do those 3 things on these videos, what it does is it boosts our algorithm so that people who don't normally see us or who aren't in our friends list will catch us on their For You pages. Even Facebook has For You suggestions, and it means a lot to us to catch those people into the broadcast, right? A lot of them become a part of our show. They become a part of our weekly watchers or our daily watchers. So when you guys do that, man, you guys, it really boosts and means a lot to me and Sammy. So please remember, share, like, make a comment. All of that helps. Hey,
and go ahead
Alyssa,
and
love it, baby.
drop the TikTok link there for our formers on TikTok.
I
We're
will.
still trying to build that audience, and we're still trying to. We got 1,000 followers so that we can go
Yeah.
live,
Jenny,
right?
I
And
see
you're
you, sweetie. Love you. Hey, Uncle, thank you so much. I see you're with us tonight. Uh, I love you. I need to call probably sometime this week and talk. I miss you, and I need to come up for Lodge soon. So thank you for everything you've done for me, Uncle Gene. I don't know if
yeah,
you guys know, Uncle Gene has been a part of my life since I was 20 years old. Uh, 20 or 21, I met him while I was in Green Bay Correctional Institute. Him, his brother Roy, his brother Mike, and his brother Sonny and spent time with us for ceremony. And he has been a believer in me through my darkest days from day one. His brother Mike, Uncle Mike, and I connected really closely. And Uncle Gene and I connected. I connected with all four of the brothers. They were always awesome. But Gene and Mike, um, they were amazing human beings. He was the first person I called when I came home from prison. And as soon as I was able, I drove all the way up to Green Bay to make lodge so we could have ceremony. And he stood beside me every second of the way. So uh, Sammy and Sammy, my mom, and Uncle Gene were the first people I called when my son passed away. They were the most important people in my circle to help me deal with that suffering and to understand that pain. So, aho matakias, magwitch
oh
deal.
yeah, and I've been up there with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
man. It's such a
yeah,
beautiful ceremony up there, man. Like, we bring our kids and he makes sure the teepees are up and we sleep overnight in the teepees up there and take care of the land um, and enjoy ceremony with him. My mic is going goofy.
yeah, a little bit. It was going in and out a little bit, but you're okay now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, sometimes I have problems with it. I'm actually upgrading. In fact, I should be using my big mic, but I don't think it's plugged in right now. So I'll have to get my boom mic working again. Uh, we're just going through every little bit as we go, you know. Here, my
Yeah, you're
so
okay.
hey, Ann. Anybody have anything they want to talk about tonight? Like, let's make this a unite. I mean, me and Sammy can come up with topics on a daily basis, right? There are tons of wisdoms and pillars that are written within the literature that allow us to focus on something every single day. Like, we're never in need of content, but what we are in need of is what you need, right? Like, so that's part of what we do as a 12-step program. We focus on everybody's needs. It's not just about me, it's not just about Sammy. So there's something somebody wants to talk about, man. Now's the time to say something. Now's the time to bring it up. I'll give them a second.
You know, it can be about money. It could be about crime. It could be about street life. You know, relationships, kids, partners. You know, urges.
Life sucks, so buy a
Whatever.
helmet.
Wow.
I love you, Kirk. Sometimes life sucks, but you know what? On that on that point right there, we do have a wisdom and a tenet that goes with that, and that's uh, if you're going to suffer, suffer well. Um, there's no, it's hard and ending. We don't put a period at the ending. We put a but. It's hard but necessary, right? Like we gotta continue to move for our money. Anybody got any extras laying around? Oh my God, and me and Sammy
And
were
you know,
just talking about that.
like what?
Any money laying around?
Yeah, I need $1 million.
Being broke.
Yeah,
We
and
don't make
join
any
the
money, you
party
guys. I do have
here
a
or
two
anywhere
coins.
else.
My money ain't sprouted. My money tree ain't sprouted yet. I do have an announcement, you guys. I am, and I haven't even talked to Sammy about this, but I should have. I am working with someone right now to produce some OCOR and FA merch. Um, And Sammy and I had a long time ago talked about creating a brand of clothing, and him and I will go into that later. But I just want to let you guys know we will be coming out with some Oakcore hats, and then with Sammy's approval, we're going to do some Formers Anonymous stuff. Um, I'm going to do some dry runs, some cold runs with a friend of mine. She's an amazing producer of shirts and hats and cups and stuff like that. So I wanted to do a couple for Oakcore, our community, our responsibility Racine. And then I was going to introduce them to Sammy. So we will have some merch coming out soon. I hope to have it out by spring. So keep an eye out for it, and I'll update you guys as I go. Sammy, just so you know, I've been talking to a friend of mine about doing some clothing and some hats, man. Best time to
So
announce
good
it
to
to
know.
you.
Good to know. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man, whatever we can do, right? Like whatever we
Right.
can do.
Hmm.
Every time people
And
see my T-shirt in my TED Talk, they want one, right? Like that T-shirt was the best seller, and we need to put that back out. It's not hard to make,
yeah,
but it's you know, I have to tell them how to do it, right? And it's and it got a lot of it always makes the comments like, hey, where can I get that shirt? And you know, people loved my hats. I still got some.
yeah.
They love my hats, and we need to figure out a way to manufacture some more coins like the ones Brian made for us. I'm running out of them.
Uh, yeah, that's funny because I still don't have any. Um,
You don't have any coins?
I've never got so, and you guys, just so
You
you know,
never got a
listen.
fucking coin? Don't even try that. You
No,
got a
when we
coin.
got them, at first, we didn't have a lot, and so what we had talked about was giving them to some of the people who really needed them at that time. So I had passed my spot up to get one, so that somebody else could have got one. I forgot who it was. Here they were in group. It was a long time ago.
Bean chair.
Um,
Bean
but I didn't
chair.
know we
I
had
got
any
a coin for
more.
you. I
I
got a
know
coin for you. Bean chair. You didn't
the
even
most
say
important
nothing.
one. The most important one was the one you gave my mom.
Look, closed mouth don't get fed.
Hmm.
If you would have told me last time you were here, you could have got a coin.
I know. I know.
I'm running out, but I still got one for you. All right.
All right. All right.
Don't
Hey,
even.
hey, Erica. Oh, I'm losing you, Sammy. It might be you're going into your Wi-Fi network. I see you're parking. I love you, bro. Go spend time with the family. I think you're home because you completely froze. All right, guys, we lost Sammy. That's all right. He's had a long week, man. He just got back from St. Louis again. And if you guys don't know, it's like a 2.5 hour drive from his home back and forth to St. Louis. So we'll let him have some family time, let him do his thing. Uh, I'm all right, Erica. I'm tired. I've been dealing with some physical ailments. I got a disease in my foot called plantar fasciitis, and it's really weird. It's kind of like the gout, right? You remember? I don't know if you guys have old people in your family who used to complain about, I got the gout. Uh, it's very similar, so it makes it extremely painful to walk. Um, it was recommended that I stay off my foot and let it heal. Unfortunately, I don't have a life where I cannot walk. Uh, I got the gouts. I got plantar fasciitis, and so there's a growth on the inside of my heel. Oh, I'm sorry, Erica. I hope you feel better, babe. On the inside of my heel. So if this is the ball of my foot, here are my toes, right? So this is my heel. It There's a bone spur that grows out and up like a point, and every time I step down, it pushes through my muscles. Put some Windex on it, it'll feel better. That's my grandpa, bro. My Walito. My Walito used to say that shit all the time. Come here, I spray a little bit. I spray a little bit of Windex, okay? Man. But so it's been really painful. And it hurts when I walk. Uh, and it goes all the way from my foot up into my knee. Um, and I haven't had much time to settle. So I just been pushing through and doing what I got to do and working every day. Um, Even though I'm no longer at the job I was at, uh, I still have a lot of stuff here to do. Um, And so I'm up and down every day, all day long, getting yelled at by the wife and the kids, and doing what I gotta do. But sometimes it is what it is. Other than that, I've been well. I'm preparing for my trip. I leave on the 28th for Atlantic City. We'll be back on the 5th. I am going to do all the cool ass touristy stuff we can do on the East Coast. We plan on going to see Statue of Liberty, the 9/11 Museum, the Holocaust Museum, going to Washington, D.C. I'm going to visit the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Square, or Washington Monument, the National Cathedral. We plan on going to go beat up crew from the Jersey Shore, not beat up the crew from the Jersey Shore. I don't want to go to prison on the East Coast. We're going to do all the touristy shit. We're going to try to get up to Boston, Coney Island, Times Square, all the places I've never been able to go to and I could enjoy. So we're going to get, where are we going in Philly? No, where are we going in Philly? The nation's biggest buffet in Philadelphia. We're gonna hit the spots. They would probably thank you. Hey, you never know, bro. You never know. It's quite possible. Man, that's what you watch. Sorry about that. I'm used to having Sammy to offset my pauses, right? I get that rapport in there with him, so him and I can talk while we're doing things. And then, I control all of our banners and our brands and our tickers. So let's see, like all this stuff here, right? Like all that stuff that you guys see, our community, our responsibility, with your host, Monteaso Cruz. I control all that while Sammy and I banter back and forth, right? So if sometimes I pause to look at something over here, now you guys get why during the show you never really notice that, right? Because when I'm doing this, Sammy, when I'm doing this over here, Sammy's over here talking to you guys. Oh wait, I missed a comment. What program you're running for streaming? I'm running StreamYard, Kirk. I seem to be most comfortable with it. We got a pro account for another year, but it's okay, right? I'm comfortable with it. And so I have all my banners, I have all my branding. Our producer, Julie, she lives in London. She does all this. She said our video clips, she did our intros, our outros, our backgrounds. Like, hold on, let's see what this is. I'll pull me out real quick so you can. So she made all this stuff for us, right? This one here. If you guys don't know, that's a mural I did years ago in the office that Sammy had downtown. And it's still there. Sammy left the business and moved on to another company. And the people who were there loved it so much, they've kept it up. That was 5 months of my life. That was the first piece of artwork I did major since I had came home, and they kept it up there. So I was very, very grateful and proud of that. Heather Bennett and Jim Schatzman kept it up there, and I've allowed it to stay there, and I'm grateful for that, right? Because that meant a lot to me when I painted it. Hey, Beaners. For some reason, oh, yeah, you just popped up on my thing. So, Kurt, you were talking about StreamYard. Yeah, it's very forgiving. It's an easy format to use. What's up, Jimbo? I love you, bro. I actually I try stream. So you guys, just so you know, while I'm here live with you on Facebook, I'm also live on YouTube and on our community, our responsibility page on Facebook as well. And I also live stream to Twitch, right? So Booger Kirk, so I can do all that simultaneously. And then on my other screen over here, I have Facebook up. And so I can peek over here to see who my live viewers are. And over here, I can see what page you're watching for, how many viewers from YouTube I have, how many from our community, our responsibility Racine, and how many from my page. Right now, I got all 7 of you on my page. So it's a decent streaming app. There are better, but now don't forget the 27s. You're with me for a minute. You're W me. I'm with you for a minute. Yes, I'm with you for a minute. I forgot what for, but I do remember that on the 27th we have a date. I had planned on getting all prettified and spiffied up so that you know, people wouldn't judge us as we held hands walking down the street. You got anything you want to talk? School programs, that's correct. Yep, we gotta go down and talk about that. You got anything you want to talk about, Jimbo? You want to come in and talk about what you're dealing with the school program? I'm more than willing to let you come in and speak for a few minutes. You got to look at your ugly face, but I kind of love you, so I don't mind. You know, I'll stream PlayStation on both YouTube and Twitch using Streamlabs. Streamlabs. I'll have to look that up. I'll have to check that out. I've been kicking around an idea. I have a page on Twitch called Grandpa Bigfoot Gamer or Bigfoot Grandpa Gamer, and I play horribly at Fortnite, Valheim. Here's one. I started playing State of Decay 1 early on in its release with my brother, Ann and John Sidoti introduced me to it, and I started playing. Kirk, I have Apex Legends. I just tried playing it the other night for the first couple times. I'm horrible at it. I didn't like it. It seemed like a much more complicated version of Fortnite, to be honest with you. Like it was much more confusing to me and much more in depth, right? Fortnite's just quick, pick up a gun and shoot someone, right? Like kill a 12-year-old. I've been playing since it came out. I'm still horrible at it. Yeah, I was bad, man. Me and my nephew and his buddy were playing the other night. It was horrible. Like I was trash. At least at Fortnite, you know, I can get a dub and you know, 7 to 12 kills in the game. How about doing stuff in the community, like trying to work with some of these badass? Oh shit! Leave it to Jimbo. You know, so what do you want to talk about? Doing stuff in the community. What kind of stuff? What are we looking at? Are we looking at outreach? Are you talking about walking around and parenting other people's children? What kind of stuff can we do in the community? One night to come play with me and my friends. We'll teach you quick. Sounds good, bro. I'll have to send you my Steam account info. Video games. Well, dang it, I can't find my glue gun. Hey, Heather, how you doing, babe? I don't know. Well, that's why I'm speaking on it. Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can do in the community, right? Like, so why don't we explore that a little bit? What do we think is a good idea, and in what way? I see you on PSN all the time. We are friends on there. Okay, so on Steam, I think I'm. Let me see. Let me open it up while we're talking on here. I'll bring it over to this other side window for me. This PC, desktop, games. On my Steam account, I am Monte Azul 1211. I have to cam up. This is too much shit to write out. See, that's why it's so. Hey, listen, you guys, for those of you who haven't come on camera, when you have something, my topic is How do you accept people coming back into your life when you did them wrong? Because there's an anniversary coming up on Easter, and it's wearing on me because I want to be able to see everybody, but I don't know if I'm going to be ready to thank you for any feedback. Well, that's a rough one, right? That's actually something we talk about and look at in the steps, right? Um, when it's time to make amends. I can't tell you when to do that. Like Sammy and I talk about that all the time. We did know that for us, making amends or attempting to make amends earlier on in our steps, uh, where other programs do, didn't make sense to us, right? We're too fresh, we're too new. So it's a little farther back in formers, right? Like we wait a little bit longer to go forward and make amends to people. But sometimes it can be more harmful to them. Not, you know, not to mention yourself, to make or to attempt to make amends or to see people who we've hurt. Um, Sometimes time is a good thing when it comes to that. So I don't know. And these are people you hurt, right? So let me be clear here, Sabrina. Like my topic is how do you accept people coming back into your life when you did them wrong? Because there's an anniversary coming up on Easter. So I want to be able to see everybody. I don't know if I'm going to be ready to thank you for any feedback. So did they hurt you or did you hurt them? People that you've hurt. Um, like I would look at it as, are they ready to see you? Right? Like, um, that's a hard one, right? I don't know what you did. I don't know how you hurt them and some of the people that they hurt me too and my family. That's very difficult, Sabrina. That's something that is very personal and it'll have to be. Yeah, right. I'm sorry, Kirk. It's been a long day. I spent most of the day out in my driveway busting out a big truck doing I was only supposed to do pads and rotors, ended up having to do front pads, front rotors, and calipers, and then clean my garage. And I've been up super early and I didn't sleep much last night. And then yeah, see, I'll be up late tonight and early at it again tomorrow morning. My eyes are blood red shot. Like I'm tired, but we had missed a couple days. Sundays we do it during the mornings when we can. But we missed last night, so I needed to get on here and make sure you guys knew we were here and we loved you, and that we were still doing our thing. You know, now you got me. Here's what's crazy, Kurt. I'll yawn like this for an hour, and the minute I lay down, I won't be able to sleep. I'll lay there for hours sometimes. Today is my divorce anniversary. It's 7 years today. I've been divorced, so I'm leaving back together 5.5 years. Amends can be made if you really want them. You both really gotta want it, man. No doubt. Heather, thanks for sharing that. You know, I don't comment because I love you both, and I think you're both amazing. And I think you guys had some stuff to work out. You worked it out, and it always made me happy that you were happy. So, but Sabrina, yeah, she's right. Like, you got to make sure you're both working out. Jesus, Lord Almighty, man. I celebrate both my divorces. I'm done with you, Jim. I can't even talk to you anymore, bro. Moko no approved. Moko no approved. Right? Oh, but yeah. Who was I just talking to? I was just talking to somebody about how, like, nighttime is my worst enemy. Oh, crap. I got to send Jim an invite. Let's see if we can do this while we're talking. I don't know. Do I like Jimbo enough to send him an invite? I do. I do. So normally when I'm doing all this, Sammy takes up takes up the slack, so you guys don't see me hug both my exes today. We got divorced, right? Like, you know what? I'm not enemies with anybody that I'm not with anymore, right? Like anybody I dated in a serious sense, and then split up with. At some point, we've all made friends, and um, we have good relationships. That's important to me, right? Especially like with my daughter's mother, because it's worth it, right? Right, Bug. Um, with both my daughter's mothers, right? It's important that I'm able to communicate with them, be friendly with them, have conversations, interact, not feel uncomfortable at get-togethers where all the children and family are involved. Um, that's important to me. So I strive to keep a good relationship with people. Jimbo, I sent you an invite. I don't know if you got it. I wanted to open his throat with a sharp box. I know, Heather. Wait, hold on. Like, you're not telling me anything. I was there. Sweet mother of monkey milk, man. What I thought was an invite was a farting Yoda. Did you get the invite? I sent it. Yeah, I sent it. It's the last thing I sent you. Bang, bang. And for all of you who don't think I know, when I say please share and like, I'm looking for it's the last thing I just sent you. I just looked at it. Facebook got me again. It tells me who shares and doesn't share, just so you know. So hey Tia, I love you. I miss you. How you doing? I should have never married one, but remain friends with both. Yeah. You know, sometimes like people rush into things and marry for reasons their own, you know, is what it is. I got no judgments on it. Yeah, that's Auntie Renee, bro. And Renee, do you remember Booger from when we were kids? Kirk, uh, still my friend forever. I will always love him unconditionally. And what is today? It's Tuesday. She's off. Yeah. Divorced after 18 years. Oh, you worked with her at Warren Packaging? I didn't know that, bro. Ah, crap. All right. Everybody, I'm going to introduce Jimbo. We're going to keep it quick with him. He's dangerous. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I'm hoping he's clothed and fully dressed. Oh, thank God he is.
Hello.
What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
All right, let me get the balance between the
Testing 1, 2, 3.
there we go.
All right.
I still got the
That's
screen
Moco.
up, so I can
Right,
keep,
Heather?
so I can keep track of the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you look on your screen, you should be able to keep track of the chat right here while we go through it. It'll pop up on the right hand of your screen.
Got it.
Yep.
All right.
That way you can mute your Facebook
I did.
chat. Okay.
I did.
Moco
And
approves of this message.
I'm on my best behavior tonight.
So we were talking about reaching out to the community to help with kids and help with kids' attitudes. So just so you know, Jimbo, we do not smoke on the show.
Well, that's what I was putting it out there. We got community standards here.
Sucks for me because I'm a smoker, but I don't want to trigger anybody if they're watching. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, bro. It's a hard thing at times, right? So I just
right. That's we got a vape too. So, but
right, I face fuck coffee the whole time and try not to yawn to death. That is Booger. Not on the screen. That's Jim. Booger's in the chat. Booger doesn't come on live with me anymore.
So you want me to lay this out?
So you were talking about a situation where you wanted to talk about outreach or some type of community work to help with children.
Right.
In what manner are you talking about? Like, what do you?
Here's how this plays out. is my fifth grader got jumped coming home the few blocks, and it was kids that were in his class. Okay. And so, when I was talking to the principal's telling me about these kids, their background, a lot of the other kids in the school and what he's up against. And I don't know, the former in me kicked in, and I'm like, well, what can I do to help you, man? Right. And so we talked about it. I gave him some of my background, talked about formers a little bit with him. And Monty and me are going to meet with him on the 27th to look at what we can do to try to help some of these kids have a little more positive regard for one another. And, I asked Monty because I don't think the kids are really going to take an old bald guy who looks like Santa Claus serious. So I bring in Abichi Marmaluka. See?
So what is our goal, right? So let's everybody in here, for the most part, right? Like, I can guarantee you cares about our community, cares about kids, cares about how they're growing and the safety of other children, right? What do you think we can do?
What I think we can do is maybe, tame our stories down, but share some of our experiences and where the differences came with some of these kids. Because, like in my neighborhood, we got, what are they, the Dirty 99 or something like that they're called.
Yeah.
These kids got these little gangs popping and what have you. And I think that maybe if we can, hit a point with them, give them something that they can, just kind of plant a seed, and maybe it can make a difference.
I don't disagree with you at all. No, that's not a former venue though. Like that's a you and me venue, and I think that we'll push it on that, right? That's an OCOR, our community, our responsibility Racine venue.
I don't know, Monty. I want to argue that point with you because
Formers has a strict policy.
Right, with the youth, I understand that.
Yeah, we do not participate, nor do we counsel, nor do we accept people under a certain age.
Well, no, that's not what not where I was going. I wasn't trying to start formers in a school. Let me reframe that.
Right. Well, no, I'm saying us when we go down there, right?
Well, what I'm saying, Marty, is in the spirit of formers.
Absolutely.
That see where I'm going there.
Yeah, that I'm down with.
Right.
But yeah, there's strict guidelines that formers has, and for good cause and good reason. That where we don't deal with children.
Right. I'm well aware. Yeah.
But we can. Yeah. Like, I'm down with that, bro. There's nothing else.
It comes into with formers though. It comes into with caring about the communities, because ultimately the community was also our victim.
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the 12th step, right? That's part of step 12, where we're going out to spread the word, to spread the change, to be a part of the change. Will some bitch gets the leather, a belt in the mouth, and boot in the ass. Well, while I don't 100% disagree, Heather, I will say this: I got the belt, I got the boot, I got the fist, I got the electrical cord, I got the wire hanger, I got the spoon, I got a 2x4 once, I got thrown out of a moving car once, all by the woman who gave birth to me, and none of it helped me. None of it made me a better human being. None of it, even after years of forgiveness and look back, none of it did anything but instilled fear in me, and the one person I should have never had to fear. You
know what, let me hop on top of that, Monty.
I would have paid at one point, Booger, for a paddle with holes in it.
So let me hop on that once, man.
Yeah,
I have similar experiences. Okay, the cracked ribs, the fat lips, the busted head. I mean, we're running the same path there. Here's what happened to me as an adult, though. Right, is what I learned from those experiences was that when things didn't go my way, that's the way I made it go my way. You see, if that carried over into my adulthood with me abusing people, et cetera, because that's what I understood. So, I mean, there's always that aspect. I try to look further down the road on that too.
Yeah. So for me, it didn't help. Maybe it'll help on, I don't know. But for me, it didn't. It wasn't. It wasn't what helped me commit to change, right? Like for me, the very first time um, I thought about like long-term changes came from a teacher in the Department of Corrections, Jean Sampson. We used to call her Mother Goose, um, and she had a unfaltering belief in me. Her and Uncle Gene, as I talked about at the beginning of this broadcast, both of them I met very early on in my incarceration, and both of them had an unfaltering belief in me as a human being, and that was the first time I actually decided that I wanted to commit to change. That for me was it. As far as these kids go, like it's such a uh, deep, uh, it's such a deep and complicated issue uh, that I don't think, and no studies have shown that physical discipline has been a benefit to raising better kids. Uh, Unfortunately, um, one of the biggest things that showed uh, one of the strongest causes of children doing well is two-parent families, right? Like it's proven two-parent families are amazing when it comes to raising kids who succeed and who do well. Single-parent homes, our children are much more likely to have problems. Um, Now, uh, the rhetoric that goes with that is usually hardcore far right and um, not in agreement with my beliefs are. But two parent homes are one of the greatest assets to raising good children. Um, I gotta say, I still want to call her out. Call her out. Yeah, Heather, I understand what you're saying. It's just that for me, as I've grown, none of the data proves out, right? Like, so after a kid is capable of communicating clearly, right? Like when a kid can answer you, physical correction hasn't shown to improve anything as they grow older, including respect. It's still fear, right? But as far as respect goes, and sometimes respect and fear can seem similar, right? Like it can really appear to be the same, right? Because they respond in a respectful tone for fear of getting that ass whooping, right? Um, but like none of the data has shown that it really weighs out. Most of the time, communication is the key, right? Talking. And I've been experimenting because I have a difficult child, right? Uh, and I really only have one of three. And I'm not going to mention which one it is. Um, but that child is now clearly capable of reasoning, um, communication, and understanding. And so I'm trying other avenues, but we'll see how it goes, right? None of my kids have ever received a real ass whooping. Danica's been spanked a couple times. Should study healthy fear. Well, I don't know what type of fear they show. I just know what like the child psychology data shows. Um, and it was important to me. Like you guys might laugh about this, but when I was a single dad, I was terrified, and so I read everything, everything about how to be a better dad, how to be a better parent. Like I read anything and everything written, anything online, whether I agreed with it or didn't agree with it. Everything time they did a new study or produced a new paper, like I wanted to know what it said because my biggest fear is failing as a father, right? Like it's my only fear, and it's deep seated. Um, and so for me, I dove deep into that field of that train of thought and that book learning, and I just couldn't find anything that showed physical punishment was beneficial in the long run. I know that we grew up in a time where physical punishment was normal, and it was normal, and so we've accepted it. And there are kids who got regular physical punishment, and there are kids who got physical punishment like we got. And I promise you, my mother's physical punishment was much worse than mine, and mine was pretty fucking horrible. So I just haven't used it, right? Like I can raise my voice and my kids listen. Generally,
That's the way I do it.
I got one that's a hothead, and I don't tend to raise my voice in anger very often. Like if I'm yelling, it's to calm them, to quiet them, so that they can hear what I'm going to say, and then I ask them to do something or tell them to do something, and then if they don't, we go from there. But I've only had to physically spank my kids once or twice each, and then I didn't see any benefit in it and decided not to anymore.
See, now that
It hasn't
makes
been
me
helpful.
that makes me want to rethink my approach to this school thing. Makes me wonder if I don't want to maybe get some demographic background. You know, I mean, there has to be an angle somewhere to get through to these kids.
Like all the real data shows that for the most part, the number one thing to help kids is a 2-parent home. Like
Well,
a
I mean,
2-parent home changes everything. It changes their graduation rate. It changes their success rate, their post-graduation rate, their college rates. It changes their chances of being arrested drop by double digits having a
you see, I don't contest any of that, but the reality of the situation is that's not what we're dealing with. That's not the parents at these kids at the school. You
Mike,
see what I'm saying?
Mike, I have no doubt I've met you personally, so I know you're a pretty good guy, right? And I mean this in no disrespect. I have no doubt that your mother stayed focused on you, and anecdotally, it's amazing. It's a great thing, right? But that's one, right? Like there's always an exception to a rule. There's always that one person who breaks away from the rest, right? Just the reality is, you're very rare in the fact that you did so well. And it wasn't just because your mother focused more on you than anything else. It was because you and your siblings were just different. Because there are mothers who and fathers, single mothers and single fathers, who dedicate all their time to raising a child, and they still have just about the same statistic of failing, right? So we were talking about schools. Let's talk about schools real quick, right? What could we do to make things better for schools? Better funding, right? That's something that we talk about a lot, right? Especially me on the left, right? And for those who don't know, we don't talk politics on Formers, but we're kind of off the Formers kick and more on an OCOR kick. So let's do this.
Shifting gears there.
Yeah, let's shift gears a little, because I am definitely on the left, right? So better funding for our schools, right? That would be what do we all tend to agree? Better funding for our schools would mean better graduation rates, would make better behavioral rates. Like if we were all funded the same way Olympia Brown was funded, right? Like, so my kids go to a school that's in a higher tax bracket than most children in Racine, and they get more than most children in Racine. Because
you know what, hey, Monty, listen, I'm talking about founding that 501c3.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Hang on a second.
Let's finish this thought off.
All right.
So Racine Unified sucks. Okay, Mike, do you know what the biggest boost and the biggest boon to graduation rate and better behaved children are in schools? Do you know what the number one thing in the world, like in the United States, the one piece of data that changes more than anything, the graduation rate and behavior of children in school. Do you know what that is, Jim? Two-parent families.
I kind of figured you were going to say that.
Now, we can give them free lunch. We can give them tablets. We can give them computer rooms in every classroom. We can do all of that and only raise the graduation rate by a minuscule percentage, right? Which is still okay. I still want to do that because even that minuscule is important to me, right? We can't change two-parent homes, right? We can't force their parents to stay married. We can't force their parents to get married. So let's save the few that we can save. Let's save, right? So putting lips on a stick on a pig is still a pig. Yeah, but Miss Piggy was pretty fucking hot. Mike, funding to the right channels in our schools. Funding doesn't help, Heather. You can give the schools all the money in the world.
These kids.
Getting through to these kids, there's like, if we're talking about purely data driven, right? Like we can sit here and talk about it all we want, but we're talking truly data driven, that won't help either. You know, Sammy talked about it a few weeks ago about how you know, they said if we give an inmate an education, they'll do better. If we give an inmate money funding, they'll do better. If we give an inmate counseling, they'll do better. If we give an inmate, none of it panned out. None of it did, right? It didn't change the revocation rate or the incarceration rate at all. But when they added all three together and gave everybody everything in all three together, it helped, right? So the whole point is it starts from home of why these kids are so bad. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So if it starts at home, are you sure Racine Unified sucks and not Racine Parents suck? Right? Like we're blaming Racine Unified, and I'm in no way impressed by Racine Unified, just so you know. Although the teachers bust their ass for the most part, and I'm friends with a lot, and I work with a lot, and I talk to a lot, and I have 3 children in Racine Unified currently, right? All 3 of my little ones go, and all 3 of my grandchildren go to Racine Unified. So I'm involved with Racine Unified. I was on the Racine funding, the Unified funding committee, and I didn't see anybody else there except for a handful of people that I was involved with. You know who showed up for that funding? People without children. Big buck people who had money. That's who showed up. When I applied to be a part of it, it was because I was a parent of a teacher. They put out a mass notice to the public that said, hey, we have $27 million that we need to figure out what the future of Racine Unified is for. How many parents want to participate? And there was like 5 of us on a 60-person panel. 5 of us. Where were these parents? Where were these people in the community that are saying, hey, Racine Unified sucks? Where were they, right? We talk about this on OCOR and at Formers. We can't bitch about our situation if we're not involved in our situation. So I was a part of it. I applied. It was the first time I applied to be on a committee or a panel ever. I was very nervous because of my criminal history. Unified received a $6 billion referendum, paint jobs, and updated technology does not put art, music, and sports program back in the schools. Give the teachers and assistants back. Administrators do not belong with fatter checks while our teachers still struggle. Agreed. But you know, our teachers union won everything they wanted for the most part. Not quite, but for the most part. But music, art, sports programs don't increase the graduation rate. Remember what we just talked about, babe? They don't increase the graduation rate. They don't increase the grade point average. They don't increase the behavior in school. They don't do that. Tell why Unified claims they're running out of funding for next school year. They're always running out of funding. They're a government entity. They always spend every money they have so that at their next budget, they can get a bigger budget. That doesn't concern me either. Listen to what I'm saying. We're here now on Facebook talking about this. But again, there were only 5 parents of Unified children who showed up and requested to be a part of that fucking program. Where are you? I was there. Right?
Where did you find out about the program? Because that might be a problem right there. How did people find out?
Absolutely. You have to be, if you have a kid in school, you should be a part of the Racine Unified School District emails and text message thing. That's where I got mine. I got a huge email in my email that said, hey, be a part of the change in Racine Unified, have your voice heard, apply to be a part of this. Well, hell yeah. I could decide where the money goes that my children that are going to affect my children. I wrote a huge letter, right, as part of it, and said, hey, listen, this is why it's important to me that I think I should be in this discussion on this panel and on this committee. It's because I have 3 children who are currently in and their education is important to me. I have 3 grandchildren who are currently in, and their education is important to me. That's where we make a change, right? Like, we can't always complain about Unified and bitch about our community, but not be out there with the community, right? Like we were talking about, Hilltop being a dangerous neighborhood, right? And nobody wanted to go there, and no one wanted to be a part of that. But how the police are failing us, and the police are failing us. But the police are out there and we're not, right? Like, we're not doing our part. You see a kid selling dope on your fucking corner and you want him to stop and tell him to stop and he doesn't stop, call the cops, take pictures, do what you got to do. Be a part of something, but we can't just sit back and complain about some of these parents ain't shit and the schools know this. So how about before and after school programs with more arts and sciences so that take kids off the streets? All right. Again, if we're looking at data driven, and you can go look it up, that doesn't help. What helps is what you're doing right now, which is you got a mother and a father in a home and you're raising your children together. That's the biggest change. That's the biggest thing you can do to affect change in your school. That's the biggest thing you can do. Like, it's the number one thing there is. Like, it's unquestioned. It's unarguable. It's the number one thing you can do. Everything else changes things minuscule, right? Because once you're actually cut through the bullshit, there's a board apologizing that simply don't have funds allocated for that. Absolutely. So here's another thing I suggested recently at a school board meeting. How many of you guys have been to one of those? So listen, this is what's great about a school board meeting. It's public. I came on here and begged people to come, begged people to write. It's public. You know what's even cooler about the school board? They're elected. You want to change it? We need school board seats filled all across the board right now. Run for school board. We talked about making a referendum that made it mandatory that if you were to sit on the school board, you either had to be a sitting teacher, not a retired teacher, a sitting teacher, a teacher who is currently teaching, or a parent of a child in Racine Unified, or the guardian of a child in a Racine Unified. If we're upset that they're not doing what we want and they're spending our money unwisely, then let's kick off these 70-year-old white men who haven't been to school in 55 fucking years and haven't had a kid in school in 40 years off the board. Kick the people who have no children who are currently off the board. Run for a board seat, right? That's where the bullshit is, babe. Right? There's a board. The board's an elected panel. The board's if we're upset about it, I can't run, or I would. I can't vote, or I would. Right? But what I can do is say, if you're upset at Racine Unified, you can change it.
Hey, Bonnie, you do know that after 7 years, you can get that back in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Your voting privileges.
No, immediately. So that's where you're mistaken. Just so you guys know, here, let me clear up some misinformation, and this is why I was on the voting poll.
So I waited 7 years for nothing.
For nothing.
The
moment you're off probation or parole in the state of Wisconsin, you have all of your rights back when it comes to voting in the state.
Felony or otherwise.
You can vote the day after you're discharged officially from the Department of Corrections. Best believe I would run and expose Unified if they were there. Then do it, Mike. Then do it. Right? Like, let's not talk about it. Let's do it. Do you have children in the school? I believe you do. Right? That would, as far as we're concerned, would qualify you. We can't talk about how horrible something is, but not be a part of trying to make it change. Then we're just jocking, right? We're out here kicking words around that mean nothing. You guys want to do something. If you want to see something better, then you got to do something better, right? If you have a kid in the Racine Unified and you don't like Racine Unified, run for school board. Show up to a school board meeting and speak. Show up to a school board meeting and speak. Send a letter. Be a part of it. I don't put my kids there when they're failing these children. Well, then Mike, if you won't put your kids there because you believe they're failing these children, then you don't have a right to talk about it, right? Like, we have to earn those rights, man. Like, I think all of us have spent so much time getting anything and doing anything we want that we think we're relevant in every aspect. If you ain't got no skin in the game, you ain't got no skin in the game, right? Like, you ain't got no skin in the game. You ain't got no skin in the game. I got skin in the game. I got 6 of them, right? I got 3 children and 3 grandchildren. That's 6. I count. Racine School Unified, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 3 and 3. I got skin in the game. So I participate, right? I participate. When Jim told me his kid was having trouble at school, well, where did you reach out? And he immediately said, this is what I did. This is what I'm willing to do. What can we do further, right? He's got skin in the game. He's got skin in the game.
Yeah, but you see, here's something I want to add to that, man. It is what you guys are talking about is important, but that stuff I don't really give a shit about. What I care about is the people in this community and these kids in the schools. And, you know, I grew up in this town, you know, and I watched this town turn to shit. Not that it was all that hot back in the day either, you know, and I've watched the community spirit dissipate and spiral the drain. And we're not the same. We don't look at each other the same. We don't interact the same as we used to. And I feel like we have the potential to reach that again. But I just been kind of plugging my mind on where to kick that off at. You looking dazed like that don't make sense, man.
No. I'm actually reading. So we're talking about, you said something about Racine being a shit place, right? In Racine, there's a 1 in 230 chance that you become a victim of a crime in the city of Racine. That's 4 per 1,000 inhabitants. Now I'm looking up to see how that looks at the national average. So national.
You see, I'm dodging the statistics because I actually did this in my coursework, and I'm not trying to revisit it.
So let's see what the national measure is and what makes a good city. So I'm looking it up as we go. So crime
Department of Justice got those statistics.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Crime has dropped by 8% higher in 23 than 2019. It fell from 22 to 23 by a rate of almost 5%. Crime rate. So 380 violent crimes per 100,000 people. So let's do the math on that. So we are lower than the national crime rate.
Right, but show me the statistics on the vibe check, okay? Because that's what I'm talking about. Because we're not the same anymore that we used to be back in the day, okay? As far as interpersonal communication, respect, positive regard, we're not the same as we used to be.
The mayor's wife is the president of our PTA. She's no different than him. I'm wings approved. I don't want that privilege taken from me. This is the first year that I couldn't care less about the PTA. I just wanted to turn a blind eye to the city. I agree. You're so right. So listen, our crime rate's lower. Has always been an egregious example of wasting the taxpayer. I agree with you, Christopher. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's a crook, just like the mayor. Don't know the mayor. Don't know his wife. Didn't support him in the last election. Didn't support the opposite side either. No skin in the game with him. Don't care about him one way or another because I don't know him, and he hasn't done anything to improve brown or black lives in any way in the city of Racine except to pay us lip service. So I'm not going to claim she's a crook or not a crook. I don't know her. I don't have any beef with them. Don't want any beef with them. I just know that he hasn't done anything to help the brown community whatsoever. As far as RUSD wasting taxpayer money, I think we could look at every single school district in the United States and say the exact same thing. It is a governmental body, and we've already proven that all bodies that are governed with a budget are corrupt as fuck. And Sammy and I were just talking about this the other day, right? Like the unique thing about power is without checks and balances, everybody has proven it. Without someone to hold them responsible has become corrupt, right? Like they have stolen, they have done illegal shit, they do criminal acts without a doubt. So I don't doubt it. My point, Heather and Mike, because we're the three that have been communicating the most about our school and our PTAs and our things. Heather, you have skin in the game. You have my niece, an amazing human being who I think is an angel, even if you guys say isn't. If we want RUSD to get better or to change, right, then we have to get involved. We have to go to school board meetings. We have to go to school board meetings. We have to apply to be on the committees. We have to apply to be on the school board and run. Mike, I would support you. You know why I would support you, Mike? Because I believe you would do well for our school board, right? I think you should have your kids there. I think we should be supporting our public schools. One of the reasons why public school funding and our teachers' funding has gone down is because many people have opted to use the vouchers, and all that does is rob our school blind, right? Like that's all it does. I'm not a big fan of using the voucher system or school choice program. I don't think it helps. I think it hurts our children on a much deeper point. Off show. She's more crooked than my eyesight after a bottle of wine. Again, I don't know her, but you guys, like, thank you, brother. I'm running for the 11th district again in 2025, and I'll back you again, bro. Like, just like I did the first time, right? And like, we can disagree about stuff, but like, I'll always support you in that because you came from where I came from, and you worked hard, and I believe that you'll be great. Yeah, you guys, like, if we want to change something, we got to be in there, man. And you know what? That is the basis of formers. Like if we want to go back, right? We're formers. We want change, so we have to be a part of that change. We have to push for that change, right? We can't be part of the changes if we have no skin in the games.
We got to listen. We got to listen to each other too. You told me you're ready to be involved in RUSD. You told me. I said, no, I'm not going to do that, man. And here I am.
Yeah. I'm very lucky. My children are privileged. I will say that. We go to Olympia Brown out here on 5.5 mile. I know all their teachers. I know all the principals. They know me by name. They know the other students by name. It's a pretty nice school. We live in a little bit higher of a tax bracket than most of Racine does, right? It's like sending my kids to Gifford. That leaves us with a little bit more privilege than other students and other parents. But that doesn't mean that I'm not in the game on that, right? Like that doesn't mean I'm not out there and fighting for those other students. And I don't know if you guys know this, the union steward for the Racine and Kenosha Teachers Association is one of my closest friends and my first cousin, Angelina Cruz. And she works tirelessly to support our teachers and to fight for our teachers and to get them what they deserve. She's done a great job at it. She's also a never-ending activist, right? She believes in the social justice for our community, right? She believes in equality, and she's an amazing human being. And so I take RUSD very personally. And when we say things like RUSD sucks, you guys see on my page, I complain about it all the time. They make dumb decisions and they make uninformed decisions. Like they gave our kids a school day off because it was supposed to be, snowy and horrible one day, and it wasn't, right? It didn't snow at all. And they knew that with by like 5 a.m. They could have let school go on, and instead they kept it closed. And the next day, when it was raining and freezing, they sent our kids to school. Right? Like, fuck, come on, RUSD, do better, right?
All the buses were late.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think we have the right to disagree or to vocally be heard if we're not willing to put ourselves in it as well. And that's why anytime I get a letter from RUSD or an email or a phone call, I listen, I look at it, I read, and if it says participation, I'm there. Like, I'm there if I can be. I don't want to miss that.
You know what we ought to do one time?
What?
We ought to set up a community forum just for a bitch session, just for folks in Racine to pop off and say what bugs them.
We do. It's called Our Community, Our Responsibility.
Well, I was thinking something specifically focused at that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Cover up, or I should say, keeping matters internal about sports director currently in litigation. I don't know anything about that sports director currently in litigation, although I do know about covering up and keeping things internal. Our out here in Caledonia, our village board does that all the time. They'll have closed sessions, which are illegal, right? Like everything's supposed to be public and transparent. There are leaders, there are public officials. So if we don't want them to be not being able to cover stuff up, then again, let's refer back to what I said before. Run for school board. Run for school board.
See, wouldn't nobody vote for me, man?
How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know you can't build a platform that's worth running on? Right? Local politics are much easier to be a part of than state, regional, or national politics, right? You don't need a coffer of $80 million in Racine to run, right? You need to build a platform big enough and get a base big enough to support you. You don't.
Well, right, but let me segue back to something and say that I am a former for a reason. Okay, and there's enough dirt in my background. I just don't ever see that going well, man.
There's a dirt. What are you talking about? Well, like we have mayors and city politicians who have tons of dirt that come out every time there's an election. Who cares?
Yeah.
Be public and transparent. So here's the thing, and Heather just said it. Can't keep covering things up. Be fucking transparent about who you are and what you are, and who cares, right? Most people don't care if you're it's when you hide shit that people get upset.
Well, I'm always transparent, man, which is what I foresaw as the problem, because I tell on myself, look, this is who I am.
Heather, if you ran for school board, I would show up to every single benefit wearing a tutu, a yellow hat, and high heels. Like, I'd be your showcase. Hey, because I know you, and I know what you're about. Like, there's people on here. There's people within our schools. Like, we want changes. We got to make those changes. Like, we can't fucking complain about it, not do nothing about it, right? Just like I was out in the streets, right? Walking the street, trying to make things better. Like, we can walk our schools and make things better. Like, don't forget what a public entity is, right? Don't forget what our rights are in public, right? Like, we're citizens. We pay for this. We own the schools. We own the police department. Hopefully, we have the man who covered up continues to cover up the child pornography circumstances at Horlick by an assistant wrestling coach. I have no clue what that's about. Send it to me. I'd love to talk about it. I don't care. Like, we're not on Formers right now, although we are. We're at OCOR. Like, send me that stuff. I'll talk about it. Let's do a show about it. Heather, come on with me, talk about it, show me, educate me about that. I'm always down to discuss how to make things better. And if it comes to exposing a cover up within our educational system, like, fuck, man, let's do it. Run for fucking run for school board, and I'll support you. I'll donate the first $50 to your copper. Let's go. Let's do this shit. Benigno Velasquez. I'll look it up. We're going to cut out here, man. It's been an hour and 15, and this is our short night. We're supposed to be doing 45 minutes, but I love talking to you guys, and you guys have, like, we've had amazing talk tonight. It totally went off the bounds of Formers. You see, I changed our banner back to Our Community, Our Responsibility. Just so you know, anything we talked about from the point I changed our banner till now has nothing to do with Formers. Formers doesn't support it. It doesn't. It's not a part of that. This is me. Our Community, Our Responsibility, right? Formers doesn't care about any of the stuff that they do. We do, but it's not a part of that. Thanks a lot for pulling me off my square, Jimbo.
Hey, anytime, man.
I love you, bro. Great talk tonight. Hit me up. It's late, man. It's already 10:30. I still got to take a bath and soak my foot and hopefully not cry. I love you, Heather. Mike, thank you, bro. I love talking to you. Everybody who's still in here, I know there's a half a dozen of you guys still watching. Thank you for being a part of it. I love you. Hey, I see my cousin Michelle was on here. So any of the accusations made here in our chat are made by chat, not by Formers Anonymous. Formers has nothing to do with that. Our Community, Our Responsibility. I wish I still knew. I want his head on a platter. Hell yeah. Our Community, Our Responsibility is an open forum to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We have 3 rules. Those 3 rules apply for every program I participate in. No hate speech or bullying, right? We don't do hate speech or bullying. No calls to violence of any kind. Like, we don't do calls of violence. And always respect each other. So I love you guys. We're going to get out of here. I got to hit this tub.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Big shout out to my bro, Dante Cottingham. Happy birthday. I hope you have a great day today. Welcome home. All right. For the rest of you guys, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys being here and a part of this. Love you, Jimbo.